Good morning and buenos dias. I've missed this. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. My name is Hiram Skaggs. I've been attending since 2017 and a member since 2018, former chair of the worship committee and former chair of the YRE committee as well. Let's begin by acknowledging this geographic space where we currently are located, Yanawana, the home and traditional lands of the Coahuiltecan people, the original and indigenous stewards of this land to which we all belong, now called San Antonio, Bexar County, and Texas. Let us also bear in mind that many indigenous peoples have not been recognized by our federal government, even as they continue to live among us today as vital contributors to our communities. Indeed, we speak these truths as one small step towards becoming the diverse, inclusive, and multicultural community of communities we aspire to be. At our church, we strive to enact a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection, especially in our actions for justice for all and for our planet. Our faith is all-inclusive, and all means all. If you're new to us or visiting for the first time today, we welcome you to fill out a yellow visitor's card. We'd like to get to know you and follow up with you. Wherever you are on your life's journey, we hope you'll find your place with us.
Thank you, Hiram. And thank you all for being here. It's great to see such a robust attendance today. Our opening words are entitled, "Love is a Choice," and it's by the Reverend Carter Heyward, an African-American, a feminist theologian, and an Episcopal priest. She begins, "A black father lying on his back smiles lovingly at his child, who gazes back happily. We are not automatic lovers of self, others, world, or God. Love does not just happen. We are not love machines, puppets on the strings of deity called love. Love is a choice, not simply or necessarily a rational choice, but rather a willingness to be present to others without pretense or guile. Love is a conversion to humanity, the willingness to participate with others in the healing of a broken world and broken lives. Love is the choice to experience life as a member of the human family, a partner in the dance of life, rather than as an alien in the world or as a deity above the world, aloof and apart from human flesh. Today, we will continue to address our theme of belonging by recognizing new members in a special ceremony. And we will continue our conversation with our congregation members after the service with a listening session conducted by our Board of Trustees. Welcome again today. We like to pass the peace, and we do so maybe not so peacefully. So you are welcome right now to rouse yourself up, greet someone you know or you don't know, and let's enjoy connecting.
Absolutely. Good to see you. Yeah. They're having a good time. They're glad to be back.
How about singing? If you can sing like you can greet, we're going to have a good opening hymn here. Please turn to number 1023 in our teal hymnal. And Susan and the choir are going to lead us in singing Building Bridges in a Round. Number 1023. Rise in body or spirit, please.
Here's the plan. Jaime's going to line it out once, and then we're going to sing it all together. And then our choir leaders are going to bring you in by section, and you'll sing it twice more in your section. So middles and end. That's the plan.
First, second, third?
What?
What's the order of our singers? First, second, and third?
Okay, first, second, third. Okay.
Sing it all together first, right?
All together, then twice more in your parts.
Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Bridges between our divisions, I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make a sweet harmony. Wonderful. It's time for our chalice lighting. Charlotte Blackwood, formerly known as Lottie, is a 15-year-old sophomore in high school, super involved, especially with all things volunteered and social action. Thank you for sharing these with us. Charlotte.
A Place of Belonging and Caring by Kimberly Ann and Tomsik Carlson. It is not by chance that you have arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so, you begin seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Welcome to worship.
It's time to share this covenant that we have grown to accept as our own. I'll be talking more about it and the idea of covenant during the homily part of today's service. We're called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community about which Charlotte just read, where all are welcome as blessings. May we strive to share grace and forgiveness with ourselves and each other in the hope of becoming whole and reconciled. Each week we affirm this commitment to live and behave as a community in covenant. And we know this aim takes work. As a first step, let us now recite the covenant that articulates these promises and binds us together in community. We'll share it first in English and then in Spanish. The words can be found in your order of service and also on the screen. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. Su sacramento es la búsqueda de la verdad. Y su oración es el servicio. Convivir en paz. Buscar sabiduría en libertad. Dar a la humanidad nuestro servicio fraternal. Para que todas las almas crezcan en armonía con la divinidad. Así pactamos el uno con el otro. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, Lord, but
What an uplift, huh? Every week for many years, we have shared our candles of joys and sorrow, a way for us to examine our lives and to bring forth joys, concerns, sorrows. And so I invite us to reflect now, remembering that ours is a welcoming community that connects us, a spiritual community where we come alive, a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows and concerns are given space to take their course, perhaps develop into something deeper as healing and wholeness. And yet, this is a caring community where all these are held in compassion. May we listen more deeply, see each other more clearly, and grow in our love through our connection with each other. You're invited now to mindfully come forward down the side aisles, allow our worship associates to assist you in lighting a candle, and return up the center aisle to your seat as suits you. Jaime will provide some music for our lighting of the chalice. Please rise, come forward, share in the silence. Thank you all. This brown-bound book is located in the foyer before the service, that you might add some of your joys and sorrows. The first entry is joy of Rosa Hill's birth into our world 17 years ago. Happy birthday, Rosa. A joy that Mike Phillips, who is our head usher, is here serving and handing out programs and collecting our offering. Thank you, Mike, for being here so loyally over so many years. Someone who goes to school wrote, "Fall break is coming." All right. And you know, we're offering a meditation course here on Saturday mornings at 10 with our beloved Cam Davison. And someone is thankful for the meditation course being offered here. I know you had a half dozen or so last week and some attendance yesterday as well, huh? Thank you. Joyful for the beautiful music yesterday at Joycelyn Rudolph's memorial. And sorrow because we will miss Joycelyn. Joyful for cooler mornings, and they say fall is coming in just a few days. Come on, fall. Join with me for a moment of prayerful reflection. I invite us all to take a deep cleansing breath and let it go. Breathe again and let go of any clenching that you feel in your body, especially around your abdomen, your heart area, that you might be holding from stress, strain, trauma. Hey, listen. It's been a very traumatic couple of years. So take another breath and release it. Sit up. Put your feet on the floor. Feel yourself held by this community in this beautiful space. Feel yourself as important, for you are. You are loved and you're cared for. Breathe into this moment of quiet. And let us remember that this community is where we can bring all our joys, sorrows, and concerns, both spoken and unspoken, that we may feel empathy and compassion for ourselves and others. I'm going to invite us all to take 30, 40 seconds of silence. So keep breathing. Let's move into the silence as our hearts relax and open as cradles for all that is here and to come. May the caring of our community truly come alive in us as we act more kindly, more lovingly, and more justly. May it be so. Our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, Bridget Laflin, is going to bring today's story wisdom.
All right, so all of the young people that would like to, you're welcome to come up front. Even if you're not so young, you're welcome to come up front if that's helpful to you. So come on down. Today we're going to be talking about a pet party. How many of you, not just the children, but how many of you have pets? Lots of you. How many of you, even if you don't have a pet now, used to have a pet? Yeah. So pets are really important in our lives, aren't they? Yeah. Well, this is a story about some kids in a neighborhood who decided that they were going to have a pet party. Have you ever heard of a pet party? No? Well, this is a party where everybody in the neighborhood got to bring their pets. So the kids planned it really well. They had an area for the dogs where they could tie up the leashes if they needed to, and they had dog treats, and they had an area for the cats where they had cat treats, and they had like tall things to climb on and scratching posts, and they had a place for fish under the tree on a table, so it was nice and cool where they could bring their little goldfish bowls, and they had a place for the little animals like the hamsters and the gerbils, and they had them all over on another table, or they could set down their cages. They thought they were ready for all the pets to come. Does that sound fun? No, why not? Okay. In real life? Well, this is a made-up story, but we can imagine. So they thought they were ready for everybody. And people started to come, and people brought their dogs and their cats and their hamsters and their guinea pigs and their gerbils and their fish, and everyone had a place, and everyone was talking and having a good time. And then this little boy named Zeke came, and Zeke had a pet snake. And he loved his pet snake, and his snake was the nicest, sweetest snake in the world. But some of the people in the church, some of the people at the party were afraid of snakes. They weren't used to being around snakes. They didn't know what it would be like. They had heard stories that snakes were dangerous. So they weren't mean to Zeke, but they didn't really talk to Zeke either. They kind of avoided Zeke because they thought, oh, that snake is scary. So how do you think that made Zeke feel? Bad, yeah. Why do you think he felt sad? Zoe? Yeah, because they were avoiding him, and he felt lonely. And then another child arrived, and this child was named Chris, and they had a horse. Their pet was a horse. Well, the kids who planned the party, they didn't think anyone would have a pet as big as a horse. There was not room for Chris's horse anywhere in the party. So they told Chris that they would have to go and stand off to the side, kind of where the cars were, because there wasn't really room in the party for the horse. So Chris was kind of sad, and they took their horse off to the side, and they watched the party. They were almost part of the party, and sometimes people came and talked to them, but a lot of times they were lonely. How do you think Chris felt? Sad. So if you were planning a pet party, and this happened, that you didn't think about all the animals that could be pets, what would you do? How could you make people feel more welcome? Sorry? Making more pet room, yeah. Yeah. Getting more smaller animals? Yeah. Yeah, it would be really nice if they could make more space for the special animals that came. And I think what would have been really good is if all the kids at the pet party would have made a special effort if you notice that someone is not being included in the group, to go and talk to them specifically. Maybe they could have said, hey, Chris, do you want some punch or cake? I know you can't leave your horse, but I'd be happy to bring you some, and then we can talk over here in the parking lot. Bring the party to the people where they can go. And maybe they could educate people about not being so scared of snakes, because not all snakes are dangerous, right? Right. So when we plan parties, when we plan gatherings, it's important to try to plan for as many kinds of people or animals as possible. And if we fail, if we didn't actually include everyone that we thought we were, that we make an extra effort to reach out to those people and fix it and do better next time. So that is our story about our animal party. Now, if the kids would like to go out to the playground, you can meet me at the back of the sanctuary.
Everywhere you may go. Véanse en paz, que el Espíritu no los rodee en todas partes, donde quieran ir. All means all. That was a good illustration. It's time for our invitation to generosity, and today we're going to share our plate with Healthy Futures of Texas, which has gone nationwide. For 16 years, since 2006, Healthy Futures has worked to reduce unplanned and teen pregnancies through science-based education and advocacy efforts that work to empower young people, women, and families to make the best decisions for their futures. Healthy Futures has developed successful strategies that strengthen Texas communities. They include advocacy, education, curriculum design, collaborative partnership, and us as contributors to this success. And I want to thank our member, Dr. Jan Rialini, for founding this organization, and I guess she told me today that it's actually statewide now, and some of us who were raised in Texas think that Texas is the nation. But anyway, for those of you viewing online, we invite you to make a contribution to our website or to the link on the chat stream. And for those of us here, you may support Healthy Futures by contributing to the baskets being passed by our ushers. Would the ushers please come forward and take the offering? Thank you. Introduction of today's.
I do, actually. Your program suggests that Sherry Porterfield is the writer of the music I'm going to be singing. That's true in that she wrote the music, but the lyrics are actually a poem by a woman named Fanny Stearns Davis. I just wanted to let you know. And this piece has several versions. I just like the one that I'm going to sing, so. Your friend shall be the tall wind, the river and the tree, the sun that laughs and marches, the swallows and the sea. Your prayer shall be the murmur of grasses in the rain, the song of wildwood thrushes that makes God glad again. And you shall run and wander, and you shall dream and sing of brave things and of bright things beyond the swallow's wings. And you shall envy no man, nor hurt your heart with sighs, for I will keep you simple, that God may make you wise. That God may make you wise. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you, Barb and Jaime. We bless these offerings we have received. May we live the true spirit of our UU tradition to be generous and kind to ourselves, the people we know and the people we don't know. And may this offering serve healthy futures of Texas to do what it does so well already with our blessing. May these be multiplied through our sharing of them. Amen. On occasion, we welcome new members, and today is one of those occasions. I would like to invite Heidi McPhillips to come forward. She and Donna Pereira are the co-chairs of our membership team. And I'm going to start by sharing some thoughts on membership.
I'll just say that.
All right. We're changed by any community we choose to join. And becoming a member of First UU is about making a commitment to support and shape our congregation, and also opening yourself to be changed within the context of this community. You may ask, why join? Joining a church is a formal sign of commitment to community, With it goes an understanding of both service and financial support to that community. It means lending your energy, your talents, to grow our young people, to care for our elders, to fight for our values and passions, to laugh together, to cry together, and to mark our transitions together. It buoys and strengthens the community, and that means each and every one of us with whom we share a common bond. Membership allows you to vote on certain issues vital to our community. At the annual meeting in May, members vote to approve our budget, to accept new leaders, to change bylaws affecting our governance, and other important congregational questions. I'd like to bring Heidi up to introduce a list of names. How do you want to introduce our members? By bringing them forward and finding out who's here?
I'm not sure who is, I know a number of people are here. Jennifer Graneman is here. She has a little one, so I'm not sure if she's going to actually be present on stage, but she is a new member. Jim and Kathy Coronado are with us today. Cam Davison and James Williams. No, they're not coming. But they are new members. Sophia Vacamise. Not sure if Sophia is here today. Daphne Vasquez and Andrew Kotcher. Cody Grissom. Yes, that's Jennifer. Tim Barr and Ari. They're not here today, sorry. James Ashenhurst. And Andy and Mary Hill.
We are deeply grateful to welcome these new members, and we will invite any of you who are prepared and interested to say a few words. Jim, would you and Kathy like to start out? Sure. Yeah, here's the microphone. The Coronados.
Hello. The first time we came here was a few years back when you had Share the Plate for PFLAG. We're members of PFLAG. And after COVID, we started to rethink where we were at, and we felt that this would be a good home for us. And even though we're an hour away, this feels like home.
They live in Pleasanton.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Graneman. You can call me Jen. I normally sit in the back little wiggle room with my son. He's 2 years old. His name is Ronan. And I moved here to San Antonio 6 months ago, started coming to this church a few months ago, and I found it to be a very welcoming community. I like your message of inclusion and peace and love and truth-seeking. And I think that it would be a good community to raise my son in. And so I appreciate how welcoming everyone has been. I attend the parents group, and you have a great community here. I'm 36 years old, and this is the first church I've ever decided to join. So.
Jen, it's my pleasure to give you the book written by one of our members on the history of our church, Beloved Community, and of course a pin to wear. They're so fashionable, and a certificate. Andrew Hill is going to speak on behalf of his family. I don't know if you prefer to step up to a pulpit. Since you're a professor, you probably do that sort of thing. Please.
Thank you. I'm glad to have an opportunity. I'm Andrew Hill. I'm here with Mary Lynn, my wife, and our daughter Rosa, and the birthday girl. And I just want to take a moment to do three things. To say thank you, to offer a note of explanation, and to make a request. The thank you is for very warmly welcoming all of us. Last year, Rosa found the youth group and Dr. Sherry, and that group has helped support her and animate her, especially now under Charisse and the team of people that they have working with the children and the young adults. That was our entry here, and that thank you is from all of us. It's been a warm welcome. The note of explanation is simply to say that if you sense a bit of hesitancy from me, it's not about your outstretched hand. If you get a sense of reluctance from me on occasion, again, it's not about the warmth of your welcome. I'm transitioning. I've actually been a part of a church for a long time, for many years, and I'm finding a new home here. And so that transition has raised lots of doubts and questions for me. And so the explanation is to say, please, that's not on you, that's on me. And that leads me finally to the request, which is please be patient with me. Thank you.
You have acknowledged our new members. You have been acknowledged. You may return to your seats. Thank you so much. Right. Today's message is entitled, Covenant That Holds Us Together. Here we like to say all means all. Another way of saying that everyone is welcome. And that's how we're going to be in community together. You see, we're joined in that word that's uncomfortable for some people who don't like religious language, covenant, which is really about promises and commitments we make to each other. We aspire and desire to belong together and covenant, which is about behaviors, not beliefs. The important thing about a covenant compared with a creed is that we're not required to think alike. In fact, a guiding statement for many, many years for our living tradition, which is what we like to call Unitarian Universalism, because it lives, and because it lives, it's always changing. That guiding statement is, we need not think alike to love alike. And it's about staying in relationship that's most important for us. It's about making agreements with each other out of our freedom to do so. Our board makes these kinds of commitments. Our staff does. Committees do. Covenant groups do. Classes do. It's part of our history and practice over the years. Because you see, clearly tensions can arise when we engage important matters like justice making and definitions and anything to do with money. Racial and economic justice are charged issues these days. And we all bring our backgrounds, families, cultures, religions, races, ethnicities, educations, politics, and so many others. And regardless of these, there can be a concern that the differences that we are, that our backgrounds might divide us. The question that I have whenever I meet new members and people who are visiting is, will this person feel like he, she, or they belong here? I mean, after all, we say, all means all. That sentence assures me that regardless of our personal experiences, regardless of our perspectives on hot topics such as critical race theory or in UU circles regarding Black Lives UU or the eighth principle, issues like gun control and police reform and Black Lives Matter can be so heavily politicized. And if we aspire to be one community bound together by our promises and commitments, if we say all means all here, we've got to find a way to make that work, right? I'd like to share with you the covenant that our Committee on Shared Ministry, a group of leaders of this church, put together with your assistance. They function as a kind of a feedback loop that regularly assess our mission and vision and the ministries of this congregation. All organizations like ours need a kind of a feedback loop to see how we're doing, to take our pulse, to assess, to make recommendations. This agreement that the Committee on Shared Ministry decided to call our community agreement can also be found in your order of service. It's the insert there. So if you're here in the sanctuary, you can look at it there. If you're online, you can look at it here. If you've got good vision, you can look at it here. This was adopted 2 years ago by our board, and then it was brought before the congregation at our annual meeting in May 2021. The preamble starts, in order to establish and maintain a sanctuary of safety and trust, these aspirational guidelines for our behaviors with each other have been created from our own experiences and for our own benefit. It's understood that these commitments may be made, broken, and restored as a part of our process of growth. And I'll share a little bit of personal stuff about that in a moment. Now, I would like for you to read with me. The first thing we want our community agreement to do is what? Support our mission. And we do that when we model kindness to promote justice, equity, and compassion, share time, talent, and treasure, honor our past, embrace change, and celebrate successes. The next thing is that we want to communicate thoughtfully with others. And to do that, we practice patience and look for good intentions in each other's actions. Learn from and listen to each other. Speak honestly from our own experiences and perspectives, and respect the personal nature of commitments that others may share. Finally, we honor differences by resist making assumptions about one another, work toward forgiveness when we fall short of expectations, speak directly to each other, request mediation in order to negotiate misunderstandings, and welcome the diversity among us with curiosity, acceptance, and empathy. Now, I dare say, Jen, if you're waited till you're 36 to join a church, certainly you probably never sat down with a bunch of people and read some behaviors that we were going to aspire to desire to practice. It's a rather practical covenant. and it's sometimes a rather difficult one. I know that preamble is something that I have to look at every day as I regularly have to restore my commitments because I have broken something. I've said something out of line. I did something that had to be restored as a part of my process. But that's the wonderful thing about promises and commitments. Any of you who are married or have been in long-term relationships know that you have to continue to restart all the time. So these words of our community agreement are not as lofty as the traditional ones that we share during our Sunday service about the doctrine of this church is love, and the quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. But you know, these are basically our words. Those words we have chosen to read are words from 100+ years ago that have been part of our tradition for many years. And they make sense to us. Our community agreement is about behaviors, one that calls us to examine our actions. Those of us who went to kindergarten or preschool know that we have to continue to practice actions speak louder than words. We're still learning that. And we've got some power to change our behaviors. Some say, why don't we just practice our 7 principles? Aren't they enough? And in many ways they are and have been. They were developed years ago as core values to guide us. And as a living tradition, we're going to change, and we need to have something that continues to guide us, including our principles, which may change as well. We say that we're a faith of deeds, not creeds. So this kind of agreement that we've just read is proof of that. Now, to wrap up, you've heard me say that a church moves at the speed of trust. And trust requires a very deliberative and inclusive view. So we move slowly, and we move together. We don't want anyone to be excluded because we are moving. We want to continue to be guided by our principles. And in the near future, we will be conducting conversations among ourselves about the introduction of an 8th principle that the UUA, the Unitarian Universalist Associates, is encouraging us to adopt that has to do with racial justice. We will take any steps slowly, deliberately, and in relationship to one another so that we may move forward together. When we say all means all, we mean we want to be more diverse, more inclusive, and equitable with all of those who choose to be with us. Only in our modeling of diversity can our dear world ever hope to be a place of diversity in our planet. And it doesn't require us to think alike, but it does require us to accept, understand, and enter into a mutual agreement. Won't you join with us in this slow and deliberative journey of trust? Thank you for your consideration, and on this day, as we celebrate belonging with a new member recognition ceremony, thank you for your membership, and whether you're here as a member, a friend, or a guest, present or online, thank you for being a part of us. Thank you for being here. I'm going to exercise my executive privilege and wave off on our closing hymn because I've gone well beyond the time that I like to adjourn. So we extinguish our chalice with these words from Martha Munson, that the light might continue to glow as inspiration in our hearts, and that light on our path may take us to peace and guide our way until we are together again. Sending you off with blessings. Let's visit together